As our heroes entered the Blightmoor, the swamp, where they would find the village of Quag Cove, they found themselves going from lush forests to a dark and dismal swamp infested by the blight consumed. This blight brought about many unfavorable creatures. The swamp is treacherous. The towering trees full of blight and decay. Not much grows. The heroes found that they could travel through some areas by their longboat that they rented when they were on their way to Quag Cove. Many areas, however, are too densely pocketed with outcroppings of mud and vegetation that is rotting to be able to navigate successfully in such a large craft. They found themselves needing to rent canoes, and even then, they would occasionally need to hike the canoes over larger mud bars so that they could try to navigate through the swamps of the Blightmoor. As our heroes had tried to approach the Tree of Decay, they first had to get past the Swamp Wardens. The Swamp Wardens were zombies who had been placed upon crude crucifixes. Their eyes were sewn shut, their mouths gaped abnormally widely. As the Swamp Wardens detected somebody approaching through their blind sight, they would begin to scream and shout and shriek. Doing so would alert the neighboring Swamp Wardens to also begin. Its chain reaction of shrieking would alert the guardian of the Tree of Decay, the Mud Guardian, who would approach and stand in front of the Tree of Decay, waiting for whoever approached. The Mud Guardian, a massive, dragon-shaped mound of mud, barely recognizable for what lay underneath. The Mud Guardian is the present form of Vulturnus, the enslaved bronze dragon. Our heroes finally get past the last of the mighty trees that dwarf everything in the swamps of the Blightmoor. Then, through the mist and the fog, a massive shape looms. As they get past the Swamp Wardens and the Mud Guardian, the heroes face the Tree of Blight. The glow of a fire comes from the entrance. The massive Tree of Decay stands before them. What stands before the heroes? What must they face? We'll find out in a moment. Okay, here we have the Tree of Decay. Scene of the conclusion, the epic adventure, the Days of Blight 2, The Grey Coven by the Pickled Dragon. This was an absolutely thrilling adventure to run my players through. The Tree of Blight is massive. This terrain piece, thank goodness it comes apart into the different sections because it stands over 4 feet tall. Pinnacle down to the swamp. Branches sticking out of the tree itself are just as large as the ancient cypress trees that still fill the rest of the swamp of the Blightmoor. The heroes will come out and do battle on many of these branches, climbing up moss, finding the gibbets with tortured victims of the Grey Coven, those who have been left to die by gibbeting. Various stages of decay are what is left of them. The tree continues to climb. Massive. Finally, as the heroes climb the interior and come out on another branch, they will spiral up towards the pinnacle. At the pinnacle of the Tree of Decay, they will fight the matron of the Grey Coven, Tsura, and try to destroy the heart of the Tree of Blight. I'll go through each of the sections next. Our heroes entered into the entrance of the Tree of Blight. Inside, upon a mound of rotting vegetation, mud, bones, sat a cauldron of blight. The cauldron being tended by the night hag Zora. Upon their entrance into the tree, she welcomed them. Then, having dominated the party's wizard, Bane, commanded him to kill the rest. Bane attacked the cleric, but was quickly able to regain control of himself. Zora brought forth many of the vines and roots and their foul attacks to keep herself shielded from the players. The players were able to destroy the cauldron and defeat Zora, after which they found a stairway leading up to the next level of the tree. As our heroes attempt to climb the moss and vines to get to the next branch, a shambling mound lurches out of the vines and attacking them, attempting to engulf one of the players. The shambling mound is quickly dispatched, and the players rush up the vines to avoid the approaching Mud Guardian. When our heroes reach the next branch, they see above them gibbets with several decomposing bodies at various stages of decomposition. And there, upon the same branches and upon the gibbets, are 3 harpies who immediately begin to sing to try to charm the players. 2 of the members of the party are charmed and try to walk towards the harpies. About to walk off the branches to the waiting Mud Guardian below, they come to their senses just in time. The harpies are quickly killed with ranged attacks. Then, the players are attacked from within the tree. The players are attacked by Sinfoy, the Night Hag, also called the Beastmaster, from inside the Tree of Decay. A vicious battle ensues. Players are injured, but they manage to defeat Sinfoy. Inside the tree, they find 3 cells where captives are waiting. One, an elven maiden who looks starved. She has been turned into a vampire spawn. Sinfoy wanted to find out how long it would take a vampire to starve to death. The green hag, Meg, old Meg, captured to get her sister, Vidoma, who is an oracle hag. And a naked human. His body has been torn and ripped, chunks of flesh missing. he has been tortured beyond belief. He refuses to accept the curse of lycanthropy and fights it just as Lash Ragnar did. Then they find Sinfoy's torture room, where she tortures and tries to break all of her victims. Again, the players are faced with another illusionary attack by the tree. This time, the Earth Genocide fighter nearly dies. He is revived by the cleric before they continue up the tree through another winding passageway high to the next level. Climbing higher and higher in the tree, heroes arrive in a large chamber with roots cascading down the walls and forming a large pod in the center of the chamber. A withered gray hand sticks out of the pod. It is Vidoma, the Twilight Hag, or Oracle Hag. Her sister Meg insists that the heroes cut her free. The heroes take an hour to cut her free safely, upon which time Meg and Vidoma leave the tree, and which time the companions of our heroes arrive from below, having staved off a small number of werewolves at the entrance to the tree. They prepare to continue onward. After releasing Vidoma, Meg and Vidoma leave down the tree, warning the players that the radiant beauty, the serpent, comes. Not understanding this warning, the half-orc paladin Thok looks out to see who has approached and is petrified, or begins to be petrified. Thok was also infected with lycanthropy from an attack by werewolves in the swamp. He begins to turn into a werewolf even as he begins to become petrified. Other players attack with ranged attacks, spells, and powder bombs to try to thwart the Medusa. The recently healed Earth Genocide, Balasar, rushes out, blindly attacking her, quickly dispatching the Medusa threat. After investigating the apparent statue at the end of this branch where they fought the Medusa, they find an elven maiden who is petrified by the Medusa. They recall that she was an elven maiden who was sold to Hedy Roma to be a prostitute in Fustilugs. She refused this employment and was brought to the Tree of Decay to be punished by the Coven. The heroes next start winding their way up the narrow staircase leading to the pinnacle of the Tree of Decay. When our heroes reached the summit of the Tree of Blight, they were confronted by the Coven matron, Tsura, riding on a nightmare. Also, 3 more harpies. The players knew that they had to take out the heart if they had any chance of defeating Tsura. The players first attacked the harpies, Kriv using his lightning breath that he'd been saving all day to critically wound one, so that Red, the rogue, could finish her off with her bow. Roland quickly took out the other harpy along with help from the ranger Sheldon. The other players attacked the remaining harpy but did not kill her. They immediately started attacking the heart of the Tree of Decay. Tsura was furious. She began throwing players up into the air. Finally, she had had enough. She banished Roland to an interdimensional realm. Red was charmed by a harpy and started going across the pool of ichor around the heart. The harpy soon after came and attacked Red personally. The other players, two of which, after attacking the heart, were thrown from the summit of the tree. And although Bane was able to use Featherfall, they did not land on any branches high enough that they would make it before the end of combat. Leah summoned her spiritual weapon, killed the harpy that had just killed Red. The other two harpies were already dead. Then with her spiritual weapon, she began attacking the heart. Bane, Sheldon, continued to attack the heart, while the new ranger who was visiting continued to attack Tsura. She became infuriated, and as she came to personally attack with her nightmare, the new ranger cast Magic Circle, trapping her within it. The nightmare, along with its rider, vanished, moving into the abyssal plane momentarily. Players continued to attack the heart until Tsura brought her and her nightmare back from the abyssal plane on the next round, continuing the combat. She then threw Bane to the edge of the tree, where he managed to hang on, barely. Reaching up, he cast Witch Bolt, finishing off the heart, at which time the nightmare turns tail to run, bucking Tsura off. She lands prone, and as the heart of the Tree of Decay was destroyed, there was a massive concussion of pressure. Bane manages to not fly off the edge of the tree. Red reappears Roland reappears as he finally fights his banishment, just in time to watch the newly returned and freed Volturnus come up and kill Tsura personally. The heroes then emptied out the treasure that was found in the Ichor and went back to Quag Cove, leaving Volturnus to take care of Sharur himself.